I like it.
Alright, cool. Hello, listeners. Happy fucking Tool Day to you all.
13 years. 13 years we've waited for this.
13 goddamn years. I think we almost deserve 2 albums.
I agree, actually. I think that there should be a follow-up album in 3 weeks' time. 3 weeks gives me just long enough to get really familiar with this album and demand more.
That's if you're going to listen to it another 8 times a day.
Well, you know, it's just on repeat, and the headphones are just surgically implanted in my skull. Yeah. It's a killer album. If you haven't heard it, listen to it.
Yeah, goddamn ball terror. Ugh. Well worth the wait.
100%.
Yeah, I was telling my nephew that I've been waiting for this longer than he's been alive. He's just started to get into them over the past little while. I
think this wait has been longer than any relationship I've ever been in. And it's the best one.
Yeah. It could have ended my current one, actually, because she's not much of a fan, to be honest.
I actually ran into someone today and met them for the first time, expounded on how happy I was that the new Tool album was out, asked them if they'd listened to it, and that how can you go 13 years without hearing new Tool and then not listen to it on the first day? And she responded with, well, because 10,000 Days was shit. I'm not having any further conversations with that woman. First and last time. That's it. We're done.
Yeah. I think you did well to keep your hands by your side.
We're lucky no one got stabbed.
And on this International Tool Day, we might visit a Highland distillery.
Why not?
Let's jet set all the way to Loch Lomond distillery, now located in Alexandria, Scotland, on the Loch of Lomond.
That's probably where they get the name from.
Oh, just a hunch. That's
how I'd do
it. So Loch Lomond's been called one of Scotland's most famous and beautiful landmarks, and it is that landmark in particular actually delineates the boundary between the lowlands and the highlands.
Are the highlands actually high? Like how high? And how low are the lowlands?
I'd say the lowlands are probably normal, but the highlands are in the mountains. Just an assumption.
Why are they the normallands and the highlands? I mean, mind you, they're Scottish. Probably they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Highland folk look down on the lowland folk.
That's fair.
Yeah. Actually, most Scottish people I've ever met don't seem that persnickety or uppity at all, really.
No, I've liked most of the Scottish people that I've met, but then again, I've liked most of the Irish people that I've met as well. It might be something to do with the just charming as fuck accents that those people have.
That helps a lot. Quite robust accents too.
Yep. Yeah. They're not mild.
Yeah. Pardon, so yeah, a little bit of history about the distillery. And its story begins way, way, way back in 1772, a few years before we were even a twitch in our father's nutsacks. With the founding of Littlemill, which is Scotland's oldest, albeit now closed, distillery. Littlemill changed hands several times over the centuries before it was acquired in the 30s by an American named Duncan Thomas. The original distillery was first established in Arrochar on the northern tip of Loch Long near Tarbet in 1814, but it's claimed to have closed 3 years later, although the actual date's a bit unclear. Relatively few paper records were kept.
No internet in those days?
No. They had tablets, but they were literal stone tablets. Yeah, and didn't you mention there perhaps a fire destroyed records?
I think there may have been a fire somewhere that destroyed records, but yeah. I mean, feel free to quote me. I may deny it at a later date if proven wrong, though. It's just how I roll.
So that, things stayed pretty quiet at Loch Lomond up until 1964, so nearly 150-year hiatus.
Not much whiskey produced.
No, not much at all. And I bet you that 150-year-old was...
that never made it to market.
It was pretty rare, yeah.
Oh, wow. Imagine that, 150-year-old malt.
I'd like to know if anything was left in the barrel after 150
Yeah,
years.
like the Angels would take a big chunk of that.
Mm.
Just
you'd
the
be-
wood would rot.
You'd be pressing staves to get that out, I reckon.
Yeah.
So in 1964 they revived the name, and a new distillery was built by Duncan Thomas, and the present business was established in partnership with Chicago-based Barton Brands, who subsequently bought Thomas out in 1971.
Nice.
And production began soon after. Some dates say 65, some say 1966.
That's that's what I got. 66.
Okay. I should have concurred. Little bit of trivia as well. Duncan Thomas, he was the former owner of the Littlemill Distillery in Bowling, and he lived in the former exciseman's house at Littlemill.
I think the Loch Lomond fell silent in 1984, and then it was acquired.
Just a polite way. It's like a euphemism for stopping production.
Yeah, pretty much. But it sounds nice. So
It's
it's anathema to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, fall silent. It's mythical. Acquired by Alexander Bullock and the Glen Katrine Company in 1987. And then it resumed malt production in that year. Grain whiskey production was in 1993. The stills were put in, and in '94 when they were first distilling the grain, it was Scotland's only distillery that was producing both grain and malt whiskey at the same time.
Yeah, it makes it unique.
Quite.
It can't be very unique or most unique, because that would just mean it's most one of a kind, or very one of a kind.
That'd be redundant.
It really is. It's like the ATM machine.
Oh, so good. Automatic teller machine. I love redundancy. I believe there's something quite unique about their stills. Their stills are called Le Mans stills, if memory serves.
Indeed they are. What the fuck? Is it Le Mans still? I hear you all ask. I'm glad you asked. Because a Le Mans still is a hybrid style still that features a traditional pot, but is fitted with a rectifying head, much like a column still. Basically allows a further range of characters to be produced and enables the distiller to produce different kinds of whiskey from a single apparatus.
I think the Le Mans still can produce a spirit that's 90% alcohol by volume, as compared to a typical still that produces 70% alcohol by volume.
That's quite a drastic difference, though. If anyone here has ever had the pleasure of visiting McHenry and Sons Distillery in Tasmania,
I believe someone here has.
I've got my hand up. You'll have seen exactly such a still in action, and I just want to give a shout out to William McHenry. He was an absolute dude.
The other thing that makes Loch Lomond not unique but special and somewhat rare is the fact that they've got their own cooperage on site. There's only 4 distilleries in Scotland that do have their own cooperages. So they produce their own barrels, and they repair their own barrels as well. They every
dying trade, I imagine.
I actually read something about this recently. I think it was around kind of mid 2000s, maybe early 2000s, when there wasn't much going on in the world of single malt. There was 250 qualified coopers in all of Scotland, but with the revival of single malt whiskey in particular, and the status that it has now, they've invested in training apprentices. The standard apprenticeship is 4 years, using traditional tools of the cooperage. So there's now something around 375 qualified coopers in Scotland, which it's that number. It's good for that number to go up rather than down.
Yeah.
But 10,000 barrels a year at Loch Lomond either have metal hoops replaced, staves replaced, or the ends replaced, or get re-charred, so that there's more contact with the wood. And in fact, they were one of the first distilleries in Scotland to introduce a re-char machine. So they're pioneers. So the Loch Lomond boys
Certainly are.
and girls. I'm sure there's girls there too.
Well, old mate Thomas Duncan, Loch Lomond's founder, he was one of the great innovators as well as a pioneer of the industry. And in his early days at Littlemill, he replaced the pot stills with the hybrid refracting stills, and then later perfected the design when he commissioned what became known as the Lomond still for
What a
the
guy.
newly built Loch Lomond Distillery.
What a guy.
And Lomond stills took off. They've been used across the industry at other distilleries like Milton Duff, Glenbergie, Inverleven, Scapa, and most recently at Brookladdy.
Nice. So you know you're onto a good thing when your competition starts using your products
Yeah, winner.
or your styles. For sure.
Winner, haggis dinner.
So the master blender at Loch Lomond is a gentleman with by the name of Michael Henry. Now, did you mention something earlier that he grew up?
Yeah, he had the incredible good fortune to have grown up next to two distilleries. I'm not sure which they were. I'm sure we could look into that and find it out. I should have looked into that because I am highly jealous.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I suppose that's when you grow up near distilleries. I mean, if I'd grown up near a distillery, well, I'd be a pisshead. But I'd
be dead.
Oh, my liver would be larger than my brain. But well, yeah, maybe it is.
Maybe that'd be a mean foie gras.
But I can understand that that's why he went at Heriot-Watt University and studied distilling and brewing. Spent 10 years brewing before joining Loch Lomond in 2007, and he has been at the helm as the master blender there since 2014.
What a guy.
Yeah.
What a guy.
We might have a dram to him.
Yeah.
Tip of the glass, as it were.
Sample his wares.
Why not? Speaking of sampling, I'm very thirsty, Rick.
All right, so the selection we've got today, another taster. Three of Loch Lomond's finest. We have the original, the 12-year-old, and the 18-year-old. All single malts. I dare say they're all produced in a highly similar fashion. The 12-year-olds probably contain 12-year-old original, and the 18s probably contain parts of 18-year-old original. 18-year-old original as well.
Yep.
Which could also say contains a 12-year-old original, but that's just a guess.
Well, why don't you crack open that wee tantalising little pale gold beauty there, and let's have a dram.
Says this one's carefully matured in the finest American oak casks. Something I need to look into is how casks are selected and rated. What makes one finer than the other?
Yeah. So much to learn. Nice pour. You do have such a dab hand. 3 Glencairn glasses lined up in front of us. So we'll have the opportunity to nose and compare and give our opinion, and then compare our opinion to the master himself, Mr. Murray.
To the 12, and I'll rinse that out for us.
Cool. Now, I'm not even sure in our introduction we
all started. Let's not sugarcoat it.
yeah
We fucked up.
I think we also failed to mention that we have a name for the podcast now.
We certainly do. We're going to have to go back and put that in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Living the Dram.
I'm Hursty.
And I'm Rickus.
And now we're back at the pouring. How much am I putting in here?
Roughly 25.
Okay, fair enough. God, for a bloke that used to make his living pouring drinks, I'm out of practice. I didn't spill it though. That's the main thing. Oh, there's a little more than 50ml in that bottle.
Okay.
Happy days. Well, I think you deserve a splash more.
Of.
That's still the 12.
Okay.
Yeah, and I deserve a splash more. Yay. Bonus drinks. Bonus dram.
Alright.
I had this great little bit of trivia to work in with the whole, we've named the podcast Living the Dram, but I've kind of dropped the ball because a dram is a reference to an old imperial measurement.
Oh, really?
So yeah, a dram is the measure that they used to put in. But what I failed to do was find out exactly how many milliliters is in a dram. So tune in for the next episode.
And this is the one that you wanted more than 50 mils of.
Yeah, that's true actually. All right, fucking killing it here. Look at that. We even remembered to talk while we were pouring, so we didn't have dead air. Learning a new trade is fun.
So they all appear to be matured in the finest American oak cask.
Yeah,
There
not a lot
can't be
of
so many of these fine casks to go around.
difference in colour
Well, it really isn't.
between them. So I mean, little bit more darkness. Kind of, it's like a bee's dick of a shade darker in the 12, and probably the same bee's dick to the 18. But that sounded good.
It really did.
Yeah. Did you ever do that? When you were a kid, put different levels of water in glasses and see if you could make noises that sounded, unirritating.
No, I just grabbed a bunch of saucepans and made really fucking irritating
Yeah,
noises.
see, I did the irritating thing too. I just broke a bunch of glasses, but what can you do? So, the classic.
Alright.
You knows, I'll talk shit, and then I'll knows, you talk shit.
That's good. It is, yeah. Just
Actually,
you can just smell a subtle hint of smoke and peat.
there is a tiny bit of smoke on the nose. It's kind of
Yeah, nice. Much more than the Glenlivet.
there's
After
already
Distillers
more
Reserve
going
we
on.
visited. Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah, there is a thread of smoke in there. There's some nice cereal notes. The malt shines through on the nose.
Let's get a Oh,
Nice robe on the fucker.
yeah. Yeah, it's got a nice viscosity. I'm just getting a hint of something acidic right up top. It's almost citrusy, like candied orange or something.
There is the hint of maybe orange peel or maybe some kind of. It's just a tiny hint.
Well, there's even like burnt orange peel. Like my nan used to that's how she'd light the fire. She had a big open fireplace that we used to love sitting around when I was a kid, and that's what she'd use as fire starters.
I legit thought you were going to say your gran used to smoke oranges, and I was already going, what? Just goes to show.
Dude,
Let
she's
someone finish
batty,
talking.
but yeah, not.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I suppose citrus peel could make a good fire starter.
Yeah, I guess all the oils and stuff in
Yeah.
it. Well, did you ever do that thing where you squeeze a lemon peel over a lighter?
Yes, actually,
Yeah.
used to do it to certain cocktails in my early days as a cocktail barman.
Oh, oh, classy.
Well, pretending to be anyway. Yeah, there's a bit of sweetness there. It's not hugely floral, but there's a lovely floral kind of interweaving with those cereal notes.
Mm.
And yeah, there's quite a bit going on there.
Mm.
Now I can think about burnt orange peel and your grandma smoking it. All right, let's have a sip.
It's far more smokier on the palate than the nose gives way to.
Bit of spice on the palate. Yeah, the malt is predominant, with the finish is kind of sweet. Yeah, that's you're right. There's kind of a sweet citrus aspect to the finish.
Yeah, second and third sips have really opened it up for me. I can the woods. Yeah, it's more pepper than spice now. It's very well balanced. For a no age statement, it's very well balanced.
Oh yeah, second sip smooths it right out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Tones that spice right down.
Yeah, it becomes pepper,
Brings the flavour.
pepper
Yeah,
in
you're
the
right.
middle of the tongue rather than just spice.
Maybe just a touch of ginger. There's maybe the tiniest hint of licorice. But you're right, it's really well balanced. For no age statement, that's a really nice balance.
It's just cheating, reading some of the tasting notes.
Oh, nice.
And it says they are, finally, a slightly astringent citrus note appears fleetingly in the background. I was getting it more on the nose than on the palate.
It opens up on the nose as well after a couple of sips.
Yeah. Oh, and I just got that. Yeah, the cereal.
Yeah, third sip, even more balanced. That's that spice has really toned itself down to a warm, that seems to be a hint of aniseed that goes really well with the wood and the cereal. And you're right on that finish. There's that's just a hint of a citrus overtone, which just. Yeah, that works for me.
It's a pretty nice dram.
Yep.
Well, it did win gold in 2018 at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition.
Tell me more about the San Francisco World Spirits Competition.
Well, it also won silver back in 2016. So I don't know how the same whiskey gets better, but...
Do the other whiskies get shitter?
Yeah.
Like... Did someone pull out?
That's what I want to... Stiff competition that first year.
No, you know what they did? They went and bought. they went and bought the winning distillery. Fuck you, now you're Loch Lomond.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
What I was curious about, though, is how... I've heard some... I don't know, you hear a lot of wankery about wine judges. And, because clearly next to whiskey marketers, they are some of the biggest wankers on the planet.
No, it's in the job description, isn't it?
So I was just curious as to how these things are judged, or the judging criteria. So in the San Francisco World Spirits Competition, to get a gold medal, it specifically states that exceptional spirits that are near the pinnacle of achievement, these products set the standard for their categories. So gold for a no-age statement, this is a pretty nice one.
Yeah, okay, so that means that all other no-age statements, effectively, based on that criteria, are judged against this one.
Yeah, I did. There is a team of judges, and yeah, there's different criteria. So, say you can get a double gold, and that's awarded to the entries that receive a gold medal rating by all members of the judging panel.
Fuck yeah, I want double gold. I wouldn't settle for anything other than double gold. The fact that there is double gold means that I can't I'll be disappointed if I don't get it.
See, I'd settle for platinum because to be awarded platinum, you have to receive a double gold for 3 consecutive years.
Oh!
So I'm curious, actually. I want to look into...
Has anything won a fucking platinum?
I don't know. I should have looked into that.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's okay. That's something for us to...
Something for you to do. Find that out for me.
Actually, yeah. Maybe...
And if we go the opposite end,
only we had research elves like a QR. Gotta find this out for us, monkey.
Go forth and do my bidding. You there, PC monkey. If we head the other direction, silver for outstanding spirits that show refinement, finesse, and complexity. The winner among the best of their categories, and bronze, well-crafted spirits that are commercially sound, modestly attractive, and free from significant flaws.
Fuck, that's a kick in the nuts, isn't it? Oh, you won the bronze. Yeah. It's commercially sound.
I would pay for your whiskey.
Yeah. Well, people buy it. That's... there just may as well be no third prize. With a third prize is a kick in the nuts like that.
The original also, it's got a spate of awards actually over the past 4 years. You got silver at the Scotch Whisky Masters, run by the Spirit Business. You got gold winner 2017 in the Berlin International Spirits Competition. Yeah, we said silver in 2016 at San Francisco again. Got an Outstanding Quality Award 2016 at the International Wine and Spirit Competition. And lastly, silver back in 2015, the Cathay Pacific Hong Kong International Wine and Spirit Competition.
For a no age statement, it's got some chops.
Soundly applauded.
Well, I think it deserves them.
I love, though, in like true German succinctness, I had a look at how they judge their international spirits competition, and it is far simpler than the wankery that spewed forth from the San Francisco World Spirits Competition website.
No, when you compare San Francisco to Germany, I mean, the wankery levels are very fucking different. Not a lot of wankery going on in Germany.
So double gold must be a phenomenal product. That's a unanimous decision by all panelists. So it's basically the same as San Francisco. Gold, buyers love it. Silver, buyers like it. Bronze, buyers would purchase it.
So it's exactly the same criteria, but said the way it fucking should be said.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, superb. Yeah, I like that.
They have a great way of sifting out the nuts and the bolts.
Yeah, true. No time to fuck around when you're engineering. Do they do a lot of engineering there? That feels like broad strokes casual racism. And I mean, I am prone to these kind of things unthinkingly because
we're Australians.
I wasn't going to tar us all with the same fucking brush, but I should because it's just more casual racism. But
because we're white Australians.
Check your privilege. So I apologise if I've offended any Germans. I imagine they'd be pretty hard to offend.
They're not terribly easy to offend.
Yeah. I think that's why.
Quite a matter of fact bunch of guys.
Yeah.
And girls.
I wouldn't say I've met a shitload of Germans. I've met a few, and I've gotten on well with the ones I've met. And that's all I have to say on that.
True story.
Cool story, bro.
Alright. So, while I've still got a sip of the original left, I might start nosing this 12.
It's a good idea, bro.
Nosing this 12-year-old. It's the only time you can ever get away with saying something like that.
Oh, dear, oh dear.
Ooh. Oh, this is quite different.
Well, that's a reaction.
Yeah, much,
This 12-year-old's on the nose.
Yeah, fruitier. Fruity 12-year-old this.
Nice. I learnt from your stellar fucking example last week, and I've actually left some whiskey in my glass. Yeah, I'm a pig, but yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying really hard. I'm learning. Oh yeah, you're right. There's a lot more going on there.
Yeah, a lot more floral.
Really floral.
Interesting fact. The Loch Lomond was only first available in Australia just over 2 years ago.
I reckon there's a couple of blokes in this room that probably has, a couple of those first bottles to make it to the Australian shores on their shelf.
Sure, we could sniff one of them out.
Courtesy of Ye Olde Whiskey Club. That smells really nice.
Yeah, that smells great.
Considering that neither of us are huge Highland fans, and we've started in the Highlands, we're getting to know them a little better than we used to. It's floral.
It's very. Now I've gone back to the original. The original becomes quite woody.
Oh yeah, you're right. The wood really jumps out at you with something to compare it to. Whereas there's a bit of kind of molasses. That's I get the image coming into my head is a steaming treacle pudding. With there's a bit of butterscotch in there.
Always my default's vanilla, but there's an extra level on your vanilla here.
Yeah.
It's quite it's got a creaminess to it as well. Almost like, say, that vanilla, almost. Yeah, with slightest little edge of citrus. It smells to me like it's largely gone compared to the original, but it's like a lemon meringue smelt from a distance in a way. Like your neighbours just cooked a lemon meringue.
Fuck,
and you've got a little waft.
I agree. I think I didn't. It didn't come to mind. But as soon as you said it, you're right. It's not strong. It's just, maybe even 3 doors down has cooked one, and you've just, you've wanted out the back to put the clothes on the line. Yeah. Gust of, breeze has come through, and you're going, oh fuck, someone's just cooked a lemon meringue pie. Now I want one.
And it was a chilly breeze, and you're like, oh, fuck, I could really go a Loch Lomond 12-year-old now.
Well, that's a reasonable response, isn't it? I mean, you've just become disappointed that you don't have fucking lemon meringue pie and someone else does.
Just drink your way to happiness.
That's a harsh blow to fucking have to deal with. I think that definitely deserves a dram.
Well, on the palate, yeah, the smoke once again is far more pronounced than the palate. But yeah, it's kind of explodes. That floral sweetness is wow. That's really nice.
That is nice. Again, spicy on the tongue at first. But it there's almost like it's almost a little like tobacco.
It does have that richness, like when I was a smoker of roll your own, like when you first open, like a Port Royal or something. It's got that deep richness, which its colour almost disguises in a way.
Oh yeah, it really opens up on that second sip. That initial spices
mellows out a lot.
Mellows way the fuck out.
Yeah.
It's
quite sweet, this one.
Yeah, it is. The sweetness really comes through, but the sweetness is kind of structured around a base of not so much wood, but the actual malt itself, the grain, but not the toasted version of the grain. Kind of. So it's not cereal. It's just that kind of real nice kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Foundation to build those sweet notes around. It's more kind of typical Highland sweetness, that heather type honey. There's a little. Is there a little tropical fruit in this? Is there a little green apple in there?
That is in the tasting notes that they provide on their website. So someone obviously agrees with you.
Well, yeah, someone does. Either that, or I'm a whiskey marketer, fucking bullshitter in disguise. Fucking, I'm only just finding this out about myself. Oh, it's depressing.
But I do, I do get hints of that green apple or the pear.
Yeah.
To me, it's a little bit more pear.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think now that you've said pear, I think you're right.
Nice ripe Packham pear.
It's sweeter as opposed to, because I like Granny Smith. Yeah, so I like a tart apple, and it doesn't smell tart. It smells kind of. It's still sweet. Pardon me. And again, it opens out on the nose after those couple of sips.
After a few sips, actually, most of the I find the peatiness disappears on the palate, but on the finish, it's long and lingering but subtle.
It is very subtle.
That is a really nice Highland. Can't believe I wasn't as impressed the first time I tried it. Now that I've dissected it more, I really enjoy this.
That is I think it's one of the things when we've for listeners, we've been talking about doing this for a good couple of years now, and have finally kind of sat down and done it. But one of the benefits, I think, of doing something like this is the depth of exploration that you don't have when you're sitting around after 12 beers.
Having that late night dram.
Yeah, that late night dram after a gig. Well, yeah, that time, this probably isn't the best time for a dram, but fuck, we don't get that often to drink drams together, so it's it gives us a nice opportunity to explore some of the things that we haven't really explored in whiskey. I mean, I'm an Isla boy, big time. Like, if it's got no peat, I'm not that interested, which is such a narrow-minded.
One of a bloke that once told me if he wants to have a dram, he'll get the thickest Isla he can, because that's true Scotch. If you don't want that, then why don't you just have a bourbon or have an Irish? In a way, that's really what differentiates a lot of Scotch. I can
really agree with that. That peatiness is unique to Scotch whiskey, and I, in my opinion, that's a pretty uninformed opinion, but it's just I think the peat should be celebrated. Now, in saying that, there's fucking peat monsters out there that don't really do it for me, because it's all about the peat. I mean, something like a Lagavulin 16 or an Arbeck 10-year-old is peaty. It's super smoky, but there's a real nice balance in there. It celebrates the smoke. Without being incredibly dominant.
I'd say Ardbegg's on the verge of belting you in the face with it, but
look,
But the Lagavulin 16 is goddamn.
Yeah, that's an exceptional whiskey, and as I think I mentioned in the first episode, that was the whiskey that got me into whiskey.
Totally understandable.
And it's still a huge favourite, but The beauty of exploring whiskey the way we've explored it over the last couple of years, and being exposed to some of the whiskies we've been exposed to, is that we've had an opportunity to go outside of that single region. I think when we first started drinking whiskey together, you were a Speyside man through and through, and yet here we are, fucking opening our podcast with a couple of Highlands and enjoying this one. And I'm sure that Speyside will always have a place in my heart, just as Isla will always be my go-to. But at the end of the day, there's just some fucking amazing whiskies out there that, if you get too single-minded about it or go, when you say I don't like those kinds of whiskies, all you're really doing is fucking robbing yourself. You're robbing yourself of the opportunity to taste something that you'll never get the opportunity to taste otherwise. And if that's not your thing, that's cool. You're probably not listening to this podcast because you're probably not that into whiskey. But, if you're actually, when you pick up a Dram, when you can nerd out over the complexities and the differences and all those teeny tiny fucking things that make it so wankish, why restrict yourself? Do that everywhere you can.
I've just been nosing, comparing the difference between the two.
Well, that's good. I was talking plenty of shit, so that's a good opportunity. Oh wow!
I love what that So yeah, just the fruits on top of the 12-year-old are just yeah.
Have you stuck your nose in the 18 yet?
Sorry, no, not yet. But I've gone back to the keep going back to the original, and it's just like breakfast porridge, brown sugar.
Oh wow, yeah! As soon as you said brown sugar, there it slapped me in the face. It is. It's brown sugar and cereal. Mm-hmm. And the wood is so clear in the classic.
But the floral, the
12-year-old is super floral.
On that is. So
the 18-year-old is something again.
Oh wow! Just quietly, I do have high expectations here after the 12, especially.
Yep, same. Look at the fucking robe on it.
Whoa.
Yep.
Whoa, there's something there on the nose that I'm struggling to put my finger on.
So that... You know what? Oh, is it tea?
It is a savoury.
Well, like maybe leather? Something that's kind of...
Oh, now you're talking. Yeah, it's like a like a leather store or something like that.
Like, there's a
new couch or a new jacket.
Yeah, like there's a hint of maybe, like someone hasn't smoked a cigar in there recently, but there used to be a cigar smoker that would wander in every now and then, and it's it's rich, it's indolent, but it's not sweet. There's a hint of sweetness in there. But it's the dominant, on the nose is this.
Oh,
I just don't have enough words.
Yeah, I'm finding a sort of a like a solventy kind of. It's almost like a acetone, tiny little hint of acetone or something. To me, that bouquet isn't as nice as the 12-year-old.
I agree, but it's
unique.
Powerful.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's unique. It's not like any whiskey I've smelt before. I've nosed before.
There's a little bit more peat on the nose on this one than the other two, I think. I wonder if it'll be on the palate.
Actually, just going back to, I'm just reading on the 12-year-old. It did double gold this year and last year. This year being 2019, last year 2018 at San Francisco. So
it's up for a platinum next year. Fuck yeah, go Loch Lomond. I can understand it getting a double gold. That 12-year-old is that's a fucking really well balanced whiskey. That's quite smooth. It's got some nice complexity to it, but at the same time, it's a really nice Highland expression. Really nice. All right, I'm gonna get some of this on my tongue.
Apparently, the Master Cooper, Tommy Wallace, he has chosen the casks that the 18-year-old matures in.
Mm.
That was far peatier than I expected.
Yeah. There's the smoke
Ooh, lots of it on that first sample.
on the first sample. It's not as spicy as the
No,
first two.
no, it's
The
very,
wood,
very smooth,
you know, the
yeah.
extra 6 years in the wood has really
Oh,
smoothed it out.
now I'm starting to get some of the wood on the finish.
Ah, that second sip is fucking delightful. Super smooth. It's funny where it hits the back of the tongue far more than the previous two, and that leathery kind of kind of old world smoky leathery tea shop maybe is on the palate too. It's
I agree. I get that. Yeah, I was gonna say, and it sounds like I'm putting it down, but there is sort of a little bit of a blandness to it, but that is that subtle tea flavor. I think. Yeah, and blandness does sound quite cruel because
it's not bland.
No, it's quite delightful, but it's that it's almost that really subtle flavor, almost an absence of flavor.
It is. It's the flavor profiles are far more. I want to say masculine, whereas a 12-year-old's a little bit more feminine. It's got it's got that floral sweetness to it that this I don't want to say lacks. It's not there, but this whiskey isn't lacking.
No,
It makes up. It has more of a more like a gentrified taste to it. It's dignified. It's reserved. It's a 3-piece suit, maybe even fucking classy tweed, like super classy tweed. It's this whiskey's a classy dude smoking a pipe in a big fuck off maroon or burgundy leather armchair in a fucking library.
Yeah,
with a bunch of other dudes,
bunch of leather bound books.
Yeah,
thick cigar smoke in the air.
Yeah, that's what this whiskey is. Whereas the 12-year-old's more
Basset Hound by his side.
Yeah. Well, how good are Basset Hounds? So good. Whereas the 12-year-old, it's more like now the first word that jumped to mind was metrosexual, but I think that's implies some of what I want to imply, but it's just a shitty term. But it's more like a new age fella, right? The dude that's he's not flash, but he's a little bit more in touch with his feelings. He's got several groups of friends that are predominantly women as well. He's a kind of guy that really comfortable in his sexuality, so he's just
can
rock
a headband,
fucking oath, and happy to express those more feminine kind of attributes, because at the end of the day, he just is who he is, and the guys and the girls love him because he's comfortable in his own skin. Whereas the 18-year-old, he puts some people off simply by having the image that he has. The younger crowd go, oh man, we're not into that kind of thing anymore. And to them I say, well, I think you're being fucking really discriminatory. And that's poor form. Because there's a place for this kind of whiskey. It's fucking smooth as, man.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever had anything like this before.
No, it's really different. I haven't tasted a Highland like this. It's not a peated expression, but and I don't even think the smokiness is typically peaty smokiness. Like there's a smokiness there that has an element of peat to it, but it is a little bit. It's like this blend of. You know what? The best way I can describe it is the old dude in his armchair, in his leather bound, tea room.
I like what you said. Because I've sort of been reading the tasting notes, and they mention on their Loch Lomond website a long finish with dried tea and tobacco leaf in balance with soft medical peatiness and wood smoke.
Oh, there you go.
And I reckon you pretty well nailed that.
Yeah, nice. I like it. I quite like it. I really like the three of them together. Like that's a nice little set and a really nice introduction to Highland whiskies.
Yeah. This is far superior to that.
Straight up, I would give that to someone. Yeah. No problem at all.
Yeah.
Like this is the kind of whiskey that I'd give to someone that is looking to explore whiskey a little more. They're mostly familiar with Speysides, so they've had they've bought Glenfiddich, or someone's bought them Glenfiddich, or some of the higher level blends where they understand a little bit about what's going into them and what they're getting out of them, but they've expressed an interest in trying something that they haven't tried before, and I don't want to throw them straight into Isla. So I like to, I either like to belt people with Isla.
Depends how much you like them. I guess.
Well, I either like to belt them with it or lead them to it gently. But I want to go back and...
Yeah, the apple and pear on becomes highly pronounced on the original.
It really does, and the floral notes of the 12...
I've almost this is almost
sweeter.
Revelatory. I think now, whenever I have a whiskey, I'm going to have two running side by side to compare the two. Yeah. I don't think I can just have one dram from now on.
But this isn't drinking whiskey. This is experience in whiskey. This is really throwing yourself in not the deep end, but just throwing yourself all in.
Well, it's getting right amongst it.
Yeah, this is getting nude, in front of a whole bunch of people and fucking strutting. That's what this is. Actually, after going back and nosing the no age statement, the 12, the 18 opens up a little and is a little sweeter on the nose. Not hugely though.
Pardon me. Yeah, I can't believe that incredible. Yeah, it's just the pear really jumps out at me on the original now. Yeah, I do see what you mean.
Yeah, it's
subtle, delicate sweetness.
They really do. They develop. Now, I'm going to use your dropper here.
In a few minutes, I might join you.
Cool.
Yeah.
There. Because I put way too much water in the dropper.
So you find you used very, very little. This might hit you with a few fast and fun facts.
Oh, I love fun facts that aren't just fun, but they're fast as well. Hit me.
Official Joe with the open.
Oh, superb.
I'll repeat that.
Thanks.
Ridiculously. Loch Lomond is the official dram of the Open. Golf being an ancient Scottish sport. Well, not so much. I don't think ancient is the right word for it, but it's very fucking old.
It is old.
At the distillery, the water source, they have 9 boreholes on site.
That's a lot. Yeah. Is it a lot?
I don't know, but
it seems like a lot. I mean, how many fucking bores do you need? It almost seems greedy, doesn't it? And you've got a whole fucking lake there as well. Like,
Is that maybe they're not allowed to just hammer at the lake, so you've got to do it sort of stealthily by hitting the water table.
Bores, we bore down and then across the lake.
Yeah. Oh, possibly my favourite thing that I found out was Loch Lomond is the brand name of the Scottish whiskey Scotch whiskey consumed by Hapton Caddock. Well, I've been doing that all day. I've been butchering me birds all day. I'm going to start that again. Loch Lomond is the brand name of the Scotch whiskey consumed by Captain Haddock in Hergé's famous comic book series, The Adventures of Tintin. I probably butchered your name.
Well, it's okay. It's unlikely that they're going to care.
Yeah, he's not going to come and find me. I don't think.
That's true. How good was Tintin?
Yeah, I never got so much into the comic books, but I loved the I loved the cartoon.
Love the cartoons. The cartoons was awesome. Man.
Absolutely love the cartoon. What was his dog? Snowy? Was that a Bichon? Probably. Bichon Frise, I think.
I understood the majority of the words in that sentence. Like Snowy.
The breed of dog. He was a Bichon Frise, I think.
Yeah. It's all Greek to me.
Yeah. Isn't it Belgian?
Oh, wow. So that drop of water opens it up a bit. I'm back to the classic. Yeah, and the wood opens up. There's and that sweetness really comes through. It's a really good no age statement. It's there's a little bit of kind of like creamed honey. There's more. I just don't have the words for it at the moment.
I did just get before adding the water. Yeah, there was a creaminess to it without the water so far.
I'm keen to see how the 12-year-old opens up with a drop.
Can't do it to the 18 just yet. I've got to have some more of that. It's delectable.
Yeah, that's fair. So the 12-year-old, the sweetness is cut a little bit. Oh, sorry. I'd like your...
I was going to say that it's subdued the bouquet, like the pear on the bouquet a lot. And I've just added 3 drops of water to maybe 15 ml of whiskey probably. Whoa, yeah.
Oh, it's a different whiskey, isn't it?
Yeah, that becomes quite mellow. I might have added 1 drop too many. It really does change.
Yeah, it really does. That the finish almost doubles in length.
Yeah, it's got some legs now.
And it's almost creamy. Like almost a creamy texture. It actually hasn't changed the viscosity at all, but it just, again, it's more toward the back of the tongue that it's, kind of really hitting, including down the throat as well, but it's it just goes forever. The legs on it. Woo!
I've just added a couple to the 12 as well. Yeah, that's muted the bouquet of both of them, just a little. But geez, you can get nose deep in that now, in the 12.
Yeah, you really can. Yeah, more of the wood comes through. A little bit more of...
a lot more of the wood comes through.
and there's those genuine cereal notes
Yeah.
in there as well.
It's you got a lot of white pepper for just a couple of seconds, and then it flattens right out.
But remains beautifully balanced. Just differently balanced.
Yeah, I almost think that they don't need water at all.
I agree.
I almost prefer without.
I agree they don't need it, but I find it really interesting to see how it reacts with just a drop or two. See now, a couple of drops of water have had the opposite effect on the 18-year-old.
Right. So I've just come back to it au natural.
The bouquet really opens up on the 18-year-old. There's still all the things that were there, but there's just a little bit of, and it's not honey, but it's the really light fragrance of the flowers that the bees use to make the honey. It's subtle, but it's delightful.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That.
I think I prefer it on the nose with the drop.
Yeah. I'll agree straight away.
It's a little less in your face.
Yeah, much more complex.
Yeah, it really, it's not as, the old dude in his plush armchair has turned into a, kind of slightly younger fella. Definitely not in tweed. He's more rocking like a, I don't know, I want to say Versace. Is Versace a fashion brand?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right. He's rocking a Versace.
Okay, I was going to say sports coat.
Does Versace do sports coats?
It might be slightly beneath them, maybe. Versace's pretty high-end fashion.
Okay.
I think for men. But yeah, Versace suits are like the business.
Okay. So a nice sports coat then, you think?
Rather than like, the guy in his smoking jacket, like Hefner style.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gone for sports coat instead. He's at the country club now rather than at home in his library.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. He's in public. And it's not just a gentleman's club. No gentleman here. Still a fucking impressive robe on it. Like,
I don't get that so much out of my crystal etched.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you've got a lovely little logo on it. I do like that. Superb.
Yeah, I think out of all of them, 18 definitely benefits from a couple of drops. That
Oh, wow.
that tea becomes more pronounced,
It does.
but it's real strong flavour tea, in a really nice way.
But it's super, like it just opens right up with a drop, the 18. Still remains super smooth.
Oh, okay, there we go. Now I've gone back to nose the original.
Yep. That's
I'm
crazy,
almost
isn't
getting
it?
banana now.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, you're right.
Yeah, that banana cake.
There is. There's banana in there. Maybe a touch of ripe pineapple. But tropical fruit for sure. So the 12-year-old, it's... I reckon a drop balances it nicely on the nose. But I don't think it benefits hugely from the drop on the palate. But the 18-year-old, I think it does. Are any of these cask strength? Do we know?
That's actually what I wanted to look at. Originals at 40. 12-year-old is at 46. And 18 is at 46%.
Yeah, okay. Well, I had pretty high expectations of the 18-year-old, and it's lived up to them.
I was hoping for a lot, and I think in a parallel universe, this would be one of my favourite whiskies. Just not quite this one.
I like that.
It's not, yeah. It's not quite me. It's fucking great. It's just not quite me.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
I'd almost prefer the 12, I think.
Yeah,
almost. Okay. I would be more likely, definitely, and yeah, obviously there will be a price tag factor, but I'll be far more likely to purchase a 12-year-old than I will an 18.
Yeah, look, I mean, price into account, I can see where you're coming from. The 18's very different. It's very different to most of the whiskies that I go to pour.
Especially if you've said, oh yeah, I've had the original before and I've tried the 12, and you expect it to follow suit.
Yeah, it doesn't. It goes in a very different road.
Yeah, it turns a sharp
corner. Yeah, it really does. But I still think it's a great whiskey in its own right, though. You know, clearly, I wonder. So, were you saying something about the Cooper selecting these barrels?
Yeah. What was it Thomas Wallace, I think? Where are we? Tommy Wallace, yeah. Yeah, it seems like he's personally chosen the casks.
So now, I know I read, and I'll be paraphrasing here because I never remember quotes properly, but a quote from Michael Henry, the master blender, that's, and again, I'm paraphrasing, but because of the distillation process that they use, the stills that they use, and their understanding of the process, he said they have amazing control over the taste of the spirit before it goes into the wood. So
yeah,
I think that's really not highly highlighted. I think that's highlighted. It's highly lighted. I think that's highlighted in the difference between the three whiskies. You know, the 18 is quite different to the 12. The 12 is quite different to the classic.
I feel that the original and the 12-year-old are more alike than the 18.
Yeah, but I think that's the contrast of the jump of the 18.
Yes.
The 18 is so far removed from the 12 that it puts the 12 and the classic, in the same paddock, whereas they're actually adjacent paddocks, I think. But to be honest, I mean, considering that I called the first whiskey that we did on this show the Blink 182 of whiskies.
Oh, you compared it to.
Yeah, I think. I don't think this is.
Yeah, middle of the road rock and roll.
Yeah, this isn't pop punk.
Oh no, this is yeah. Yeah. Do you have a
look? It's kind of. I think it's accessible progressive. So maybe like a. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not Tool.
No,
but it's not
possibly like a Tesseract or.
Oh, nice, yeah, it could be. Yes, accessible but still like proper. Progressive. Yeah. Like they're not fucking around. They're really into what they do, and they do it real well. Yeah, I think you nailed it there, dude. I think they're the
Love it.
Tesseract of whiskies.
Nice.
That's great. We'll get down the track away. So we'll do our own range of music themed whiskies. It'd be great. Can't wait to get to Isla. What'll that be? Fucking tech death.
I hope so. I hope it's an Archspire.
Yeah, well, if we pick the right whiskey, it will be. There will be an Archspire out there, that's for sure.
So, your rating.
Ah, okay.
And we'll just keep it to 10.
Yeah,
Right.
mate, I don't have the chops to be starting to
Yeah,
rate out of 100.
I'm not a 92.6 kind of person.
I'm barely a point person. But yeah, I threw it in there last episode, so I'll do it again this one. The classic, it pleasantly surprised me for a no age statement.
Beautiful.
It had enough that I'm going to give it a 7.7.
And is that... I almost think you're being a tad harsh in a way, but is that because it's just on its own merit, or is that's in comparison to the other two as well?
Oh, it's definitely in comparison.
Yeah, comparatively.
If I don't know how to do it on its own merit,
Yeah.
I would have had to have given that rating before I tasted the other
Yeah,
two for it to be non-comparative.
Yeah. See,
What did I give the Glenlivets? I think they
I
were.
think you said a 6,
they were low
6.7.
sixes.
Yeah, I think you said 6.7.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Maybe I'm being harsh then.
Yeah.
I think you're right. They're probably low to mid eights.
That's 8.2 feels right for me.
Yeah, okay.
For the original.
Look, I'm going to be guided by you on this. I know it's only half a point, like, half a number, but yeah, if we were doing it 100, that'd be what?
That's 82. Yeah, that's 5%.
Yeah. So, I'm going to go with you on that. What do you think for the 12-year-old?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. It's got to be low 9s, I reckon.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere between 8.9 9.1.
I was thinking 8.9.
Yeah, cool.
So I'll agree with you there. And funnily enough,
it's going to be difficult, I reckon, the 18, because it's just...
I know.
It's just different.
It is. It's so different that... But I think I have to celebrate the 12 above it, and I have to give the 18 an 8.8.
Okay. I probably would have went 8.7.
Yeah, okay. I'll split the difference with you. 8.7. Oh, no, I'm not a two-decimal man. I'm not a two-decimal man. I can't even pretend to be a two-decimal man.
Well, should we see what the Reverend has to say?
Fuck yeah. Come, Jim. Show us up.
Where do we go?
Well, you realise we're going to have to start fucking scoring out of 100 to make this comparative.
Okay.
But I don't want to.
Loch Lomond Original Bourbon Cask. Surprisingly fainty, though the really wide cut does ensure a huge number of flavours. A distinctly German style to this.
Hang on. Well, look, who the fuck can argue with fucking the Reverend? Yeah, he knows a lot more about whiskey than I do. I've never had a German whiskey.
What did we call 8.2? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we did.
81.5. Okay. Ooh, organic 12-year-old. No, I don't think that's...
I don't think ours is organic.
No,
Does it say organic?
I don't believe so.
Fuck, I can't read that.
No.
Jesus. How do people read such little words?
Give it here. It says something about matured in finest oak. Carefully matured in the finest American oak cask, smooth to perfection, master distillers, Michael signature. No, there's nothing. No, there's nothing on there about it. But it's the first one actually. There's Loch Lomond, aged 12 years. A triangular battle between spices, malt, and an almost coppery metallic fruitiness. So succulent. Not sure if the distiller at the time was playing about with some high propane yeast which just explodes with fruit. But there is a richness to this malt which really does deserve applause. Good grief. I've been through some Loch Lomond casks over the years, but not sure where they dug these up from. Never before seen a spice quite like it, or such a sublime balance with the fruity malt.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say fruit, please don't think grape. Great to see they now have stocks to allow this malt to really flex its muscle.
Yeah.
We gave that, 92, didn't we? No, I said
No.
91. You said...
I said 89.
Okay,
8.9.
actually, yeah, I said 90 if I split the difference. He's given it a 93.5.
Yeah, okay.
Which I do think it kind of deserves.
Yep.
In a way. Finally, the 18. There is always something slightly irresistible when you come across a single malt where the peat beats a gentle rhythm rather than its own chest.
Mm-hmm.
That's very eloquently put.
Yeah.
And I think that's...
That's why he's that's why he writes the Bible.
And it's highly succinct as well. All of these, I thought that the peat was, like it was just a minor birthday. It was like, yeah, it's like your 37th birthday.
Yeah, it was an accompaniment
Yeah,
as opposed to a celebration.
Yeah, exactly. And he has given that 89.5.
So we're pretty close. We went. I said 8.8. You said 8.7. I think so. Yeah, because I think we were going to split the difference at 8.75, but we don't do 0.75s.
So definitely in the ballpark.
We're in the ballpark. So he was with you on the 12-year-old, and maybe I was a little. Maybe I'm just not generous enough. I mean, I was harsh on the fucking.
You're a harsh mistress.
Yeah. Well, look, fuck it. I am who I am. I'm happy being harsh. Fucking impress me. If I start going and handing out fucking 9.5s and fucking 10s, where am I going to go when we hit fucking the jackpot?
Exactly. Yeah.
No, but I'll tell you what. I have absolutely no fucking problems with those whiskies. Each of them in their own right is a really nice whiskey. They're great expressions of the Highland. This little journey into Loch Lomond has made me really interested in Loch Lomond itself. The way that they distill, the way that they've innovated over the time, the kind of weird stop-start, on-off history that they've had, which I'm sure many distilleries have had. I'm looking forward to learning more about a lot of different distilleries as we go along our journey. But I had no problems purchasing them for others or having them on my shelf.
Yeah, 12-year-old especially.
Now, we had a few questions last time that I don't remember. So I'm hoping that I will be able to remember one or two. That's right. What kind of reality TV show is this whiskey, Rick?
Does it have to be reality? I guess so.
No, it doesn't have to be reality. It was just last time it was reality.
Oh. I think it's more of a I'm feeling like it sort of is reality, like a more documentary. I feel. I think it's more of a documentary kind of whiskey.
Like an Attenborough documentary? Or someone just breaking into the field?
Just something that you just really fucking like.
Yeah, okay.
So I'd go for basically anything by Brian Cox, because he's just been my man crush for the past.
Awesome.
I can't tell how long. Or actually, could go that the Neil deGrasse Tyson version of Cosmos.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Okay, so this is the Neil deGrasse version of Cosmos.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh wow. Oh, I feel so sorry for the Glenlivet. Yeah, fuck. It was a Blink 182, and this is Tesseract. Yeah,
and it was
the Housewives of fucking Hornsby, and that was an upgrade for the Real Housewives of Wyong. It didn't deserve Wyong. I was overly harsh with that. Maybe I was overly harsh. It was our first time, but
I think it got what it deserved.
Yeah, it kind of. I mean, look, I agree. Just on documentaries, I know it's a little off topic, but we didn't have a rant, this episode, so I'm allowed to tangentize.
Because we researched.
Yeah, that's true actually. But yeah, we might be able to blend the two together next time. You never know. But speaking of documentaries, have you seen the documentary Meru?
No, but you have told me
I
about
recommend that too.
Is it free climbing?
No,
is it
it's
just mountain climbing?
it's mountain climbing on a particular peak.
Not just,
Yeah.
Oh, is this the one that hardly anybody's ever conquered?
Yeah, it's had more failed attempts than any other face. I'm no rock climber. I came across the recommendation for this through this medium actually, but I really recommend anyone listening watch that. Whether you're into rock climbing or not, I'm not into rock climbing, but I found it really powerful and moving.
Nice.
It touched me, and not inappropriately. So yeah.
I really want to check out that the documentary on that fire festival. Have you heard about
I
it?
downloaded that recently. I mean, I purchased it recently.
We can edit that out.
But I haven't seen it yet. So, but what's the premise? The premise is that it was this.
That dude tried to put on the super, ludicrously boutique festival, massively high end, charged tens of thousands of dollars per ticket.
Fuck, mate. Who the fuck pays 10 grand for a fucking festival ticket?
Failed to deliver so hard.
Yeah, right. That'd be an interesting watch.
And I saw somewhere recently somebody else has picked up the reins and is trying to actually make it happen.
Oh, gee, that's a tough challenge.
It's going to have a horrid reputation. A lot of people aren't going to want to go near it, I think.
I wouldn't touch that with someone else's dick. Like, that's a recipe for disaster. Dead set. You know what? It could be a huge success story. Here's me being all pessimistic and negative.
Yeah.
I don't even know who this prick is.
No, I think there's because there's only a limited amount of tickets sold, possibly, so it keeps it sort of nice and intimate, and you're seeing stupidly higher name acts or I don't know, people like probably fucking Drake, and not that I like Drake that much, but I'm sure he's sold more albums than I ever will, so some people do like him.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Horses for courses. I think we should both go away and watch this documentary, because it's a documentary that neither of us seen, but we both have the opportunity to watch, and then next episode we can give notes
on that and the Tool album.
So, just fucking listen to the Tool album,
do
people.
yourselves a favour.
Just
maybe we should end it there. Stop listening to us. Go listen to Tool.
Actually, that's a really, really good idea. Was there anything else to add, Rick? Do you have anything else to...
I'm content. I'd say the 12-year-old for my money. Go out and buy that and listen to Tool.
Yeah, you know what? I'm with you. Go out, get yourself a bottle of 12-year-old Loch Lomond, and listen to Tool while you fucking drink it.
All right.
Just do it, ladies and gentlemen.
This is Rickus.
And Hursty.
Slancha.
Slancha.